This circle here, that's where the majority of people spend most of their time. It's called the comfort zone. Every single person has one, and we usually prefer to stay inside it. It usually looks something like this. We go to school or clock into work and do just enough to get through the day, rarely pushing beyond that. We turn to our phones or devices to get quick bursts of pleasure. Weekends are spent with the same crowd we've always been around. We hold on to long-standing beliefs, often avoiding opposing viewpoints. Basically, it's taking the easiest road available. Life turns into a familiar pattern, predictable, free of difficulty, and as a result, we stop evolving. It's easy to understand why this is where most people remain for years. As the name suggests, it feels safe here. We're not stretching our limits. And at first glance, that doesn't seem like a bad thing. Why would anyone willingly make life harder when they don't have to? But when we live solely inside the comfort zone, we might unknowingly be hurting ourselves. You see, while the comfort zone feels good in the moment, it hides a major problem. People who stay here too long don't just stop progressing. They often go backward. Repeating the same actions, day after day, can actually cause the comfort zone to shrink. Things that once felt easy now start to feel intimidating. Here's an example. Someone with social anxiety might find meeting new people terrifying. So they avoid it and stick to being alone or only interacting with familiar faces. That's understandable. But let's say they begin seeing even less of their existing friends and spend more time in solitude. Little by little, their comfort zone becomes even smaller. Because they never confront their fear, it grows stronger. Eventually, even calling up a close friend can seem overwhelming. So ironically, seeking comfort today can lead to more discomfort tomorrow. It's like a muscle. If you stop using it, it weakens and shrinks. When we stop challenging ourselves, we lose the ability to handle life's curveballs. And that leads to the first reason I try to do something hard every day. I don't want to freeze in place, and I definitely don't want today's comforts to turn into tomorrow's fears. But when we push past our comfort zone, even just a bit, we enter what's called the growth zone. Here's where real progress happens. Yes, it's awkward. Yes, we feel unsure of ourselves. But this is the space where transformation takes place. You've likely experienced this before. Think about lifting weights at the gym. You don't get stronger by lifting the same amount every session. Or when learning a new language, you don't improve by sticking only to the phrases you already know. Growth happens when you raise the difficulty, not when you stay comfortable. It could mean lifting heavier weights or pushing through unfamiliar grammar rules. It won't be easy. It will feel clumsy. You may even feel foolish. But that's the price of real improvement. Anything truly valuable often feels hard while you're doing it. Progress and challenge go hand in hand. Never forget that. Now, the comfort zone isn't the same for every part of your life. You may be growing in one area, flatlining in another, and slipping backwards somewhere else. Maybe your social confidence is fading, your work life is stale, but your fitness is thriving. It's up to you to figure out which areas need more attention. And it's perfectly okay to pause growth in one area if you're satisfied with it. Not everything requires nonstop effort. But if you're unhappy in a particular area, here are 3 ways to shift from comfort to growth. Increase how often you do the activity. Raise the difficulty level when you do it. Spend more time doing it in each session. All 3 options will make the task harder and help you grow. Let's break them down using running as an example. First, doing it more often means instead of running 3 times a week, you try 4. Adding frequency builds momentum and helps solidify the habit. Second, doing it more intensely means pushing harder during your runs. You could run sprints, tackle hills, or increase your pace from 60% effort to 90%. This keeps things engaging and pushes your limits in new ways. Third, running for longer simply means staying out there longer. If you usually go for 20 minutes, try 30. By staying with the challenge just a bit longer, you build endurance and mental strength. And this strategy works for just about anything. Want to pick up a new language? Study daily, extend your study sessions, and use techniques like spaced repetition to reinforce learning. Want to build social skills? Put yourself in more social environments. Try saying one extra thing during each conversation. Be the one who initiates plans. All 3 methods are powerful, But depending on what you're working on, one might be more effective than the others. For instance, when learning an instrument, it's more useful to play a little bit every day than to go all out once a week. You don't have to do all three at once either. Start with one, and once you're comfortable, add another layer. Now remember, most improvements in life stem from temporary discomfort. But just because something is hard doesn't mean it's helpful. Breaking a bone is painful, but it doesn't lead to any long-term benefits. The discomfort needs to have a purpose. Take studying. It makes you feel lost in the moment, but it helps you understand more over time. Eating clean and resisting junk food is tough, but it leads to a healthier body. Saving money instead of shopping impulsively might sting, but it builds wealth over time. These are the kinds of discomfort that are worth embracing, short-term struggle for long-term reward. That brings us to the second reason I take on something difficult daily. I know it pays off later. And growth only comes from going beyond the familiar. So, why don't more people step outside their comfort zones if the benefits are so clear? Well, because there's actually a third zone, the danger zone. This is where discomfort becomes overwhelming. Push too hard, and you don't grow, you break. Exercise too much, you risk injury. Work too hard, you might burn out. Discomfort is there for a reason. It's a signal to proceed with caution. So it makes sense why many people avoid it completely. How can we step outside our comfort zone without crashing into the danger zone? The answer: small steps, taken steadily. Change doesn't need to be all or nothing. If someone hasn't exercised in years, they don't need an intense 5-day plan. Start with a light workout 3 times a week for 45 minutes. Once that's easy, level up. If you can't stick to something small, how can you expect to manage something big? This leads to another advantage: the positive feedback loop. When you successfully take on a small challenge, it builds confidence. You see that you're capable of change, and that feels good. That small win pushes you to take on bigger things. Each step forward fuels the next. This kind of momentum often spreads to other parts of your life too. And that's the third reason I aim to do something difficult each day. Every win, no matter how small, builds a chain of success. Like dominoes, one knocks over the next. Still, this doesn't mean pushing yourself in every area, every day. When I say I do something hard daily, I'm usually only focusing on 1 or 2 areas. The rest of my life stays in maintenance mode, giving me time to recover. Without breaks, I'd burn out. Growth is great, but your comfort zone needs time to expand and adapt. Here's a rough illustration of how I see it. First, you challenge yourself, stepping beyond the line of comfort. Then, when it gets too overwhelming, you step back, just a bit, so your new baseline is slightly higher than before. You rest. Once you're ready, you push again. Repeat this pattern over time, and your comfort zone steadily grows. Think of it like this: the comfort zone is a place to regroup, not a place to live forever. In the end, I'm not encouraging you to drain yourself. I'm encouraging you to find meaningful challenges that push you closer to who you want to become. Sadly, many people quit at the first sign of struggle and never find out what they're capable of. But how can you know your limits if you've never tested them? Only those who consistently go beyond ever truly discover what they're made of.